Hi, I'm Rick Martino. Thank you for joining me today as I sit down with a guest whose life journey I hope you will find inspiring, entertaining, and interesting. My guest today is Daniel Barros. He's the principal insurance agent with the Accurate Insurance Group in South Florida. Danny, welcome to Conversations with Rick. How are you?
Doing fantastic, Rick.
Oh, man, what a
Great to be
pleasure
here.
it is to have you here with me today, man. I'm excited. I'm actually literally excited to have you here. You have an incredible insurance group. You're an amazing manager, an amazing leader at your office, and I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you, Rick. You mean a lot to me and my business too, and my career. You've been a pillar to the community. You've been a pillar to me as far as referring business to me, quality business, and in your own business for your own properties.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm very grateful and very thankful and honored to be here today.
Oh, thank you so much, brother. So today we're going to talk a little bit about business, but really it's about you. We're going to focus about how you come up in business, right? Where you came from, how you got here, where you're going, the whole situation. Because basically, I'm interested in how you inspire people to grow, you're like a model really in a lot of ways for other people, to do amazing things, because I think you do amazing things. So that's really, what we're going to be focusing on, is really you, okay? So speaking of that, right off the bat, is like, what inspired you to get into the insurance business? How did that even happen?
It feels like it was yesterday that I was motivated and encouraged to start my own business. It was not really the insurance business per se that I was leaning towards and what I was thinking of doing. I just, I was in college. I was young. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my career. I was studying public administration at FIU. I worked for an agency named Access Insurance in Doral. And my manager at the time would tell me, we had a meeting every morning, and they would tell me, if they call for me, I'm not here. If they have any questions, I'm not here. You have to call the company and figure it out.
Wow.
The companies that we represent. Because as an independent agent, we have different avenues that we work with and different companies we work with. So we have to be resourceful, and there was no guidance. Our guidance was us and the company and the customer service rep that would help us on the other side. So that's what really motivated me and encouraged me to open up my own agency in the insurance business. About 6 months into working there.
Wow, that's like a baptism by fire, man. It's like, hey, I'm not here, handle it.
Yeah.
What was that like? Was that scary for you at the beginning?
At the beginning, it was challenging, and it was definitely a little scary. I would call the companies that I represented, and I would speak lowly, low and slow, because I didn't want nobody around me to hear, because it was an open office.
Environment.
Yeah, so it was embarrassing, and there was girls that worked around me, so I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing, even though I didn't know what I was doing, and they knew that I was a rookie in the business.
Right.
So it was challenging, but I rose to the occasion, and in 6 months I felt confident enough and and dominating the servicing aspect of it, that I can open up my own agency.
Wow, that's just an amazing story. So, how did you prepare yourself for this? I mean, it sounds like a lot of bam. I'm going to throw you in the fire. But did you have like any type of formal education in insurance or stuff like that? I know obviously we all have to have our licenses in whatever businesses that we have, mortgages, real estate, insurance. Talk a little bit about your education, that you had to get to prepare yourself just to get thrown into the fire, into the deep end, really.
Sure. I obtained my 440 license, which is customer service representative, before I started working there, when I was looking for jobs when I was in college, because I had to pay for my own schooling. And during the process, when I liked the insurance business, it's a weekend course. I got my 440 insurance license. I obtained that, and then I got the job there at Access Insurance. That was one of the contingencies to get the job.
Is that license like the insurance customer service license?
It's the customer service.
Yeah.
440 customer service general lines service representative license. So I obtained that, worked there, and then I studied for my 220 license, which is the general lines agency principal license. I obtained that while I was there, and then that's when I was able to take the leap of faith, open up my own agency. And to answer your question, it was kind of daunting. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the expenses I was gonna take on, but I just knew that I was ready. And luckily, I had some people in my life that were able to sublease an office to me. and that's where I started in Blue
That is
Lagoon.
awesome.
Subleasing just a desk.
Oh, so
not even an office.
So this is very interesting because you're leading into how you went from working for somebody else and getting your license and getting your knowledge base. How long did you do that? Work for someone else?
It was about 8 months,
That's it.
That's
8 months, and then you went on your own.
and then I went on my own. Yes.
Wow. That's courageous.
Yeah,
that is
it was
brave and courageous, man. Respect.
intense.
What made you say, I can do this? I can do this on my own.
I think it was the intensity and the like I said earlier, like the challenge of having to figure things out and being resourceful on your own without having nobody guiding you. And I thought that's what really propelled me. And I would get very good feedback from the clients because I would follow up. I would, I'll be like, if I didn't know an answer to a question or the right thing to say, I would tell the client, listen, I'm gonna find out and I'll call you back in a few minutes. And I would do that.
Excellent customer service.
Exactly. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you gotta be resourceful and tell the customer, okay, I'm gonna find out. I don't know right now, but I'll find out and I'll call you back.
Do you think there's something wrong with not knowing what you're doing, or do you think it's okay to say, to actually own up to it and say, you know what, I don't have the answer to this right now at this moment, but I'm gonna find out and I'm going to call you right back?
That to me is the best practice, and that is
Absolutely.
definitely paramount in our business.
Yeah.
We provide a service.
I agree.
So what separates you from the guy next door and the guy down the block is your service and what you do. There's plenty of business to go around. If you take care of your clients and you have that approach of that, I don't know the answer, but I'll get back to you and I'll find the answer for you. And if I don't have the answer, I'll tell you where you can find the answer, or provide you or point you in the right direction. You can talk to maybe someone else that might be an expert in this area or line of business. So I think that's definitely paramount in what we do for sure.
I think that's incredible because you're really establishing right off the bat a sense of honesty and integrity with your client, as opposed to giving them a song and dance. Because there's a lot of song and dance in any sales business, right? But when you do something like that, it's like, this guy has integrity. He's not going to give me a crazy answer. He's going to find out the truth for me, which is what I need in order for me to make my decisions on the insurance of my home or my car or my life or what have you, instead of some off-the-cuff, answer that he created, from his iCloud, from his brain cloud,
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That is really, really, really amazing. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about, we already know about the agency. We start with how many people are in your crew?
Right now, thanks to you and a few others, we're blessed enough to have, including myself, 5 individuals working with Accurate Insurance.
Wow, that's so cool. They're all agents, or does that include receptionists and stuff like that?
Everyone in my office is licensed, so we are very versatile.
And everybody's answering a phone.
We can answer phones.
Goes.
We can throw out the trash. We take turns doing all of that.
Okay.
Taking payments, whatever the client needs for the customer experience to be enjoyable. We handle everything. Everybody's well equipped and licensed to do pretty much anything in the office. Yes.
That is incredible. I really, it's really neat when you said if we got to take out the trash, we'll take out the trash. I mean, everybody is all in.
Yes.
Is all in. That's great. Well, you know what? I didn't really want to make it about the industry or stuff like that, but I do want to ask you, how you see the insurance environment right now. I know you handle a lot of different types of policies. Homes. Do you guys do automobiles and stuff like that?
We do. We do auto, home, commercial, flood, and we do now travel insurance and health insurance as well.
Wow. Okay. Are they all affected equally? Because in Florida, we're having a big issue with homeowners insurance skyrocketing. I saw an article the other day where they said that, okay, this might start petering off. They're going to start controlling it, dropping it down. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just an article. But have all insurances been affected the same way, where everything is just, really gone up quite a bit?
It's a great question, Rick. Right now, with the property insurance market, that's the hot topic right now. So I'll touch on that one because the other lines of business they're all different in the landscape.
Okay.
So right now, the in Florida, the company that sets the standard in Florida for property insurance for commercial residential is Citizens Property Insurance. Yeah. right? There's some reform that Governor DeSantis signed off on last year that's going to change. It's already changed a lot of the dynamics and how a policy is issued with citizens for all the current policyholders. There's about 1.7 million policyholders right now with Citizens. They're the largest property insurance carrier in Florida, and I believe they are the 7th in the country.
Wow, that's a
and
big
they
number.
only and they only provide property insurance in Florida. They don't do auto, they don't do flood, they don't do nothing else.
Yeah, it's only homeowners insurance.
Correct, and commercial as well.
And commercial.
Property.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at right now as far as reform. There's some reform coming. There is some changes that, like I referred to earlier, Governor DeSantis signed off on that will make the premiums stabilize in about 2026, 2027.
Okay.
There were also
so it's still got another 2 years.
It's a glide path, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll get better
Can
as
you,
we go.
you said a very interesting term there, glide path. Can you explain what that means?
Sure. So it's like a soft landing per se. So what they're doing is the rates are stabilized now. They're really high right now for property insurance. So next year there's a cap at 3%. The following year would be 2%, and the following year 1%.
Okay.
So that's the glide path. It's going to be a soft landing to get to our
Gotcha.
goal, which is to stabilize the property insurance premiums here in Florida.
Okay, good.
And once Citizens sets that standard, the other companies, the private carriers, will follow, and they will also, adjust their rates as well. So Citizens is the one that sets the bar and the standard here in Florida for property insurance, and the other companies pretty much follow suit. Whatever pretty much that they do, they pretty much copy what they do as well.
So that is what is in the horizon, right?
Yes.
The glide path, the soft landing, which I guess in general is what the entire economic system is trying to do, right? Is get that soft landing. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a soft landing in general, or if we're going to hurt our knees when we hit the ground. I don't really know, but I'm glad to hear it from the insurance perspective that is something that the governor is working towards making happen, and that's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
It's really, really awesome to even hear that is on the table, and that's what they're focusing on working on.
That's the number one thing pretty much right now in legislation in Tallahassee. That's pretty much the number one thing.
It's important.
The property insurance reform, because it's a big problem. You have a lot of homeowners that can't afford their insurance no more. You have to sell their houses and move to other parts of Florida because it's less expensive. We're seeing a lot of that. And the governor's actively trying to change that with all the legislators and a lot of lobbyists. I belong to an association for insurance agents that we go to Tallahassee every year. We lobby for things for the consumer, and we push these sort of things to make sure for all the consumers and for us in the business as well, to make sure that we continue to be able to do business in a proper manner, and the clients actually be able to afford these homes that they're currently living in, and the homes that for the younger people that are going to start buying their first homes, to make sure they can purchase their first homes.
Wow. Just amazing information. I'm really grateful, for your wisdom and what you're telling us today, because it's so important for the future of our home buyers. And I'm talking about the very near future. Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of builds confidence. Listen, guys, sure, the rates for insurance are here, but with this soft landing plan, this should taper down a little bit. If you could hang on, if you could hold on for the next year or two like this, you're going to be in a better position, and you're going to own your home, and you're going to have equity. So, I mean, that is a plus all the way around.
Amen. There is hope.
Yeah, you were talking about younger generations and stuff getting home. Speaking of younger generations, right? Let's talk about people that may be interested in doing what you do, right? So if you had some young individual come up to you and say, "Hey, man, Danny, I really like what you do. I'm an admirer of your plan, your work, your company, and what have you." Well, what would you tell somebody who might be interested in starting out?
My number one thing, I've had young people come through my office. For example, my nephew, he started with me when he was 16 years old. He's very successful now.
Nice.
He's doing very well for himself. He's a property insurance specialist, and he's really young. My advice to him would be the same advice to everyone else that has approached me, and would approach me in the future, whether they're young or older. The sooner you start, the better. Just get your license. The 440 is all you need to work for an insurance agency. Get your bearings under you, get your feet under you, and see if you like it. If you like it, you can go for your 220 license and open up your own agency. You know, there's no hard feelings. Everybody's ultimate goal in my business is to have their own agency, and rightfully so. You know, that I encourage that. There's been about 10 different people that have come through my office that have now their own agencies, and I'm all for that. I expect that from people that learn from me, because that's what I did, and you know, that's what they should do.
How amazing that you said that there's no hard feelings.
Not at all.
There's a lot of people that do get hard feelings about
Not at
stuff
all.
like that.
It's expected in our business.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yes, because people have to grow.
Yes.
You know, if you're going to have a hard feeling about somebody growing, then you're going to stagnate the business and choke the business, and it's not going to grow, and you're not going to be able to service your community. You know, so that's an amazing attitude that you have. It's an attitude of growth, you know, and you're really, you know, teaching people to say, listen, come in, I'll teach you. Right? There's no hard feelings. You're going to grow and you're going to help our community. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. And themselves and their families and their legacy, everything.
That is absolutely amazing. I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, talking a little bit about how you balance all this work and mentoring of people and your crew and all the phone calls and all that stuff. How do you balance that with your personal life? You know, with your, you know, what's your balance there?
Sure. Well, my balance, number one, is God at the center of my life. Every morning I wake up, I do my devotional, I do my Bible app. I'm very actively involved in my church, in the community, and that's pretty much the center of my life. And my wife, she helps me out a lot as far as like not giving me grief for certain things and having to work late and meetings and things like that. She lets me, you know, spread my wings and be myself, because she knows it's for the greater good. Yeah, I might come home late sometimes, but you know, it's just the way it goes. And she understands that and doesn't give me a hard time for it. That, my amazing staff, you know, they help me out too. And I do exercise a lot. I've done a few marathons. I've done a couple triathlons.
Wow.
And I'm getting ready to do now Berlin in in September 2024, later this year.
You're kidding me?
No.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I kind of started, I'm a late bloomer. I always thought I was in good shape and things like that. And one of my clients, when I was about 6 years ago, when I was 37, she invited me to do a half marathon here in Miami. So I was like, okay, I'm up for the challenge. I'll do it. I'm an athlete. I'll get out there. It was here in Miami. And it took me about 5 hours to do 13 miles. I had to walk pretty much the whole entire race. So at that point, I said, this can happen again.
Yeah.
So my goal was set out to get into my fitness journey, my fitness quest. I got into it, and a year later, I started running full marathons and doing triathlons, and I did 2 bodybuilding competitions.
Wow.
So
well,
that's how I
that is
kind of balance it
amazing. I was going to ask you about your hobbies, you know, and I see. I mean, that's pretty intense. Would you consider that your hobby mindset? It's you know, your physical fitness.
Yeah, definitely physical fitness. Obviously, mind, body, and soul. It all comes together. You know, it's got to be together in order for it to everything work. Because if one thing's off, everything's off. So that's how I kind of balance out my fitness thing with the running and things like that. Like, I really enjoy it, and that's how I'm able to kind of balance. Because when I'm training, I usually train in the mornings. So there's no phone calls, no text messaging, no emails, no checking anything. I just pretty much just zone in what I'm doing, and when I'm working, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
But going back to the original question about the text messaging and like phone calls and actually still doing your work. It does get a little challenging during the day, like between like 11 and 3, because we work with a lot of lenders, such as yourself, and realtors, and you know, sometimes they needed it yesterday.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah. It's always an answer. I need this now because we got to close.
Right. So I try to balance it out, and the way that I do that is just call back the same day or the next day, and try to get to the emails as soon as possible. That's how I kind of work.
Well, my experiences with you, you know, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting here next to me. You're probably sitting here next to me, you know, for a lot of reasons, because you are, and your team is and has been, always been so effective.
Thank you.
You know, so effective, man. We need this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I've never had to, you know, really browbeat anybody. Hey, you know, I really need this. Come on. You know,
Thank you for that.
Never. Well, you know, I would never do such things.
Thank you for that.
Okay, but you know, it's like I've never had to put any additional pressures. You and your team have always been bam right there. You know, of course, you know you have to go through your process. You know, and I respect that. You know, so I said you got to find out, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to set up numbers. Sometimes you've given me comparables vast different numbers and go, Rick, you could pick from here, 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 and here. Your customers can pick from here, here, and here, with a lot of different variables that are so helpful and different premiums, et cetera. So somebody could say, okay, my economy can do this, not this, this, and that. Maybe in the long run, that one would be better, but right now I got to do this.
Right.
And you provide that type of information for someone to make an intelligent decision, right? So that's something that I've always noticed about you and your office and your company. The effectiveness, how complete you guys are. I mean, the communication is unbelievable. So, that's a major reason, why I have so much respect for you and why you're sitting here today, because that has led even to a friendship, in my opinion, Not that I like you very much or anything like that, but it's true. I'm just kidding.
I truly appreciate those words, Rick, and that sentiment sincerely. That really means a lot to me. And working with people like you and individuals like you that don't beat the brow and the expressions and the terms that you use and the phrases you use.
Well, what would they do? Would they blow one of these?
Yeah, they blow the whistle, and put the light in my face and blow the whistle sometimes. Yes, they do.
These are rape whistles, guys.
They're stranger danger whistles, yes.
Stranger danger whistles.
Yes.
This is an insurance company, guys. They're really protecting you. This is incredible.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
But we love working with every individual. Our goal has always been to find solutions and do the best we can for the client. Like you said earlier, right now we present all options available at that moment, and then the customer has to make an educated decision based on what their current financial needs are and what they can afford and what the coverages that they can go with or omit at that point. That's always changeable. We can change it the following month, the following week, whenever they like, we can always change it. So it's not something that's in stone. A lot of clients have that misconception that they think that if they have a policy, they have to keep it for the full year. It's not the case. You can always revisit and change your case and change your policy. And in most cases, there's no penalties or fees for canceling your policy. It's just a prorated refund that'll generate, and the other policy can be paid with the prorated refund, and then they can pay the difference, or we have payment plans, we have monthly payment plans, we have quarterly payment plans, semi-annual, and you can pay in full, obviously. So there's different avenues. We always find solutions for our clients.
Right there, just that piece alone is very interesting, because I pretty much guarantee you the majority of people with insurances don't know that, all these different ways that you can actually, put together your insurance and pay for it. That's amazing.
Yes.
Danny, I am really thrilled that you came out to be with me today. You are an amazing person, an amazing leader. I am grateful, and I'm sure the community is grateful too. Can you tell us a little bit about how people can reach you and your company and your team for their insurance needs?
Absolutely. The best way to communicate with us is via email or our website. We have an app through our website that you can download our mobile app. We have our website that you can access as well. Our website is www.accurateinsgroup.com, and our 1-800 number for servicing is 24 hours available with one of our service reps. It's 888-954-8222.
Fantastic. Daniel, thank you so much for coming out
Rick.
today. I
Thank you so much.
appreciate it. God bless you, brother.
Thank you. God bless you too, brother. Thank you for everything that you do for us and for me personally and for the community.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay.